Hi everyone! I have reached the halfway point on the 40,000 piece Making Mickey Magic jigsaw puzzle by Ravensburger. So I started this 40,000 piece puzzle in August, and so far I have 5 out of the 10 sections done, so I'm officially halfway. I started with the bottom left corner because it was the 80s, and the 80s are my favorite decade. That's when I grew up. So I did the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and then this is kind of a collage-ish type puzzle. So to me, this one was more of kind of like a collage of everything a little bit. But at the same time, I loved this section, so I didn't want to hold on to it till last because that's what I was kind of planning. So I did the 80s, 90s, 2000s, the collage-ish section, and then I did the 70s, which is the decade I was born in. Now, when I started this, I was like, okay, should I go in order from the 20s and 30s all the way to the 90 years of Mickey? But when I saw the 80s was on a corner, I was like, well, I have to start with the 80s. So then I was like, okay, I'll do the decades I've been alive and then the decades I wasn't here yet. I don't regret going in this order, but I kind of wish maybe I would have started with the 90 years of Mickey and then went in order. Either way, it's been an extremely fun puzzle. Each section has a lot of distinct areas. So, like, you can easily pick out the red pieces and puzzle those, and then the yellows. And it's just been so joyful to do this puzzle. No, not frustrating. It hasn't been uber hard. It's just been a huge pleasure to do this puzzle. And I wish I had started it a long time ago because I got this puzzle back in early 2020. I hadn't even finished the memorable moments yet when I got this. I got it on Amazon early 2020, like before the COVID shut down and all the prices went up. When I bought it, it was actually a damaged box item. So I wound up getting this whole puzzle for $100. The box was actually perfectly fine, but there was a bag open and the pieces were not the whole bag was dumped, but there were some pieces dumped, and it was this section, the 20s and 30s section. So I was kind of debating to start with the 20s and 30s, but I was like, if there's pieces missing, I didn't really want to start it off that way. So far, I haven't been missing any pieces. So I don't know what's going to happen when I get to this bag. But I'm not going to do that bag until second to last. So hopefully there won't be any pieces missing. This section has a lot of red and white and brown. So I kind of think this one might be the hardest section of them all also. So I kind of wonder if maybe a person bought it and then they looked at it and decided against it and sent it back. Or if they received it with the bag open. Not 100. I will never know. But let's just hope I'm not missing any pieces. But if I am, it's okay. I don't stress too bad over missing pieces unless it's like a huge amount. So if it's missing one or two, I'm not going to be devastated. As much as I would love to, I probably won't be hanging this anywhere because I don't have a wall big enough to hang this puzzle. I would love to cut out my floor and put it in my floor. That would be amazing. The Disney Memorable Moments puzzle, I actually still have it sandwiched in between these boards, and it's shrink wrapped together, sandwiched super tight so that the pieces don't fall down or anything. It's been that way for 3 years now, and I'm still debating whether or not to take it apart. I probably should because they're just leaned up against a wall, and I don't want anything to happen to it. When I'm done with this puzzle, I might go ahead and take them both apart. I haven't decided yet because I love these puzzles so much that I just don't know if I want to take them apart, but I'm probably going to have to. If I had to compare what I've done so far on this puzzle with the Disney Memorable Moments puzzle, I would say this one is much, much, much easier. Like, way easier than the Disney Memorable Moments. I honestly felt The Little Mermaid was probably the hardest. I don't know why. The Little Mermaid and the Fantasia section. Those were the two hardest for me. When I did the Peter Pan section, I actually did all the characters first, and then I made them fly around in my time lapse, and my cat would jump on the table. I had a lot of fun with the Peter Pan section. When I finished it, I have like time lapses of the whole puzzle, but I never actually talked about it because I wasn't really talking on YouTube 3 years ago. And the memorable moments, there's blue stars on every section. And then there's the film strips. So you had like film strips of the puzzle, which the film strips were super fun to build. And then you had the puzzle scene. So the blue stars around each section were very challenging. The film strips were fun. And then you had the scene in the middle. Like Peter Pan had a lot of blue. That's why I did the characters first. And then sometimes I would do the blue stars first. It kind of just depended on how I was feeling when I did each section. I kind of knew this puzzle would be a lot easier because you do have so many distinct areas. Like in the 80s, you have the two blues here, but they have different backgrounds. So there might be like a lot of blue, but they have different backgrounds so you can distinctly tell those pieces. If you're a really great sorter, you probably wouldn't have a huge problem trying to decipher which pieces went where. I haven't sorted any of this. I think when I did the memorable moments puzzle, I actually sorted a couple of sections, but not all of them. I remember sorting the early sections. Not Bambi though, and not Dumbo. I think I sorted like Beauty and the Beast. Because I wanted to try it, but probably halfway through sorting, I'm just like putting pieces in the miscellaneous pile because I don't want to sort anymore. So when it comes to sorting, I just don't. With this one, like we'll use the 70s for instance. I picked out the yellow pieces and I just put them on the table. And as I put the pieces out, I kind of sort them a little bit. Like if they're bright yellow, I'll put them in a pile. If I see a lot of like, I kept finding these green pieces with the grid, so I'd put those in a pile. So kind of like short sorting instead of spending an hour or 5 hours sorting. I do like a quick 15-minute sort. And then I put those pieces together as the best I can. And then I'll go back in the box and find more pieces and put those together. And then I just keep repeating that whole process. It might have taken me 4 hours to pick out pieces. I'm not really sure. I probably should time myself and see how much time I actually spend picking pieces out of the box. I don't feel like it's 4 or 5 hours though. I don't know. I should time myself sometime. So the next section that I'll be working on will be the 60s. That was before I was born. It has a cool Mickey Mouse little background. And then, reds and yellows. The 50s seems to have a lot more background than the other decades. And kind of same with the 40s. And then the 20s and 30s kind of has a lot of red. That one might be a little, I don't know. I think this one might be the toughest, but we'll see. It might actually go the fastest. I don't know. Each section has a star border, but the star border goes in like a gradient. So over here it's yellow, and then it turns orange, and then it turns into like a pinkish orange, or maybe like a peach, and then it turns pink, and then purple, and then blue. So the way this puzzle is actually laid out, I think mixing the pieces would still be quite hard because there's so many like whites, but it wouldn't be as hard to mix this puzzle as I feel it would have been to mix the memorable moments. I know the memorable moments has like distinct film strips, so you could easily tell which section the film strips went to, but I think of all those blue stars and I'm like, because some of the blue was a little lighter, some of the blue was a little darker. you have to actually match up the star shape because some of the stars are bigger. I think that one would be really hard to mix. And I do know people that are, I know one person on Instagram that is actually mixing the 40,000 piece memorable moments. I check on her progress, just to see how she's doing. And I'm super impressed that she actually mixed it all together. I think she has her boards like stacked on top of each other and then a whole bunch of like boards with all the pieces. It's pretty incredible. I don't think I could fit that much in here and actually be productive. I think I would be more frustrated. If I was going to mix a puzzle, I'd want to do what Puzzle Me This is doing and have a huge table with the puzzle on it and just do the whole thing. That's my goal with the life puzzle, is to get a huge table and actually mix the life puzzle together. But I need a room big enough first, so. But one day I do plan to do that. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. One question I do get quite often is, how do I have the space to do a 40,000 piece puzzle? And then one of the biggest comments I see is that people say they don't have enough space to do a puzzle, or they're not sure like where they would put a 40,000 piece puzzle. So what I do when I do a 40,000 piece puzzle is I have my table and I have foam core boards. I get them, if you're in the United States, I get them from Office Depot. And I believe Michael's also has them. Michael's is a craft store. And I believe they have them. You might have to ask. But I know that Office Depot, if you go online, they do have 40 by 60 boards. I usually get them in packs of 10. If I know I'm going to do like the 40,000 piece puzzle, I will buy a pack of 10. That way I have new boards to work with. Because when they're dented, since the pieces are a little smaller, it kind of makes it harder. I'm actually using the foam core boards that I used with the 60,000 piece What a Wonderful World dowdle puzzle. There's some tiny indentations on the boards, but for the most part, they're actually in pretty good condition for being laid out in my driveway. I just had so many. I had like 20 boards and I didn't want them to go to waste. So I was like, well, even if they're a little dirty or dented, they'll still be fine. One side is usually a lot less dented than the other. So I just picked the less dented side. I will put a link to the boards from Office Depot in the description. And you can usually find like a 25 to 30% discount. Or if you subscribe to their newsletter, you can also find it. You can get a discount that way also. What I do is I take one of the boards and I put it on the table and I actually tape it down with packing tape. That way the board doesn't slide around. Once I complete that first section, I just put another board on top, tape it down, do that section, and I just keep stacking them up. You just need a 3 foot by 4 foot space and then just stack the boards on top of each other. If they're on a table, like I said, I tape the boards down. That way they don't shift and move. And then I make sure that they're stacked, perfect on top of each other. So you don't have one board that's out too much to the left or one board, just make sure they're stacked. The 40 by 60 boards will hold a 5,000 piece puzzle. When I was working on the artistic Mickey, it literally fit perfect on one of these boards. If I want to do something bigger than this, than what this board would hold, you can take a second board and cut it and then tape it, and then you'd have a longer board. So that's definitely an option also. But I just keep stacking them up. When I did the dowdle puzzle, I had, I think, 8 stacked up or 9 at the end. I didn't want to stack them up too high because I had never stacked more than 5. And I wasn't sure how heavy it would be with those puzzle pieces in it. But surprisingly, I'm pretty sure it was 9. It wasn't heavy at all, and it wasn't awkward. So with this one, I'm going to stack all 10 boards. That way we can shrink wrap them all together and then take the whole thing in the driveway. Because that's usually where we put the big puzzles together, is in the driveway. If for some reason it's raining or freezing, I think I have an area in the house with the kitchen and dining room that might hold the full puzzle. I'm just not sure. Because we kind of have a wall in the way, so I don't know if that room is long enough for this puzzle. That's why we usually do it outside. So I have 5 more sections to go, and I'm gonna try to get them done before Thanksgiving. I think Thanksgiving weekend would actually be a really fun time to lay out the puzzle. You know, we have a 4-day weekend. I don't know how the weather is going to be, and I'm not going to know for a while, but hopefully that weekend would be a great time to lay the full puzzle out. So that's my goal, to finish the full puzzle by Thanksgiving weekend, which gives me almost 2 months. And I think that's a really good goal to get the next 5 sections complete. And I will be doing time lapses of each of them. I've been doing some little close-up shorts of each section so you can see the details. All right, so that's all I have today. Be on the lookout for the first 5 time lapses, and I will have part 6 starting up very soon. I'm also going to be doing Halloween puzzles. This year I have 9 or 10 Halloween puzzles picked out, and then I have the Reverie 13-day countdown to Halloween Advent puzzle calendar. I haven't even looked at the puzzles yet because I want to be surprised when I do each one every day. Super excited to do those also. So thank you all for watching my video, and happy puzzling. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.